Can you see me properly? Because I can't see myself. Very sad.
We can see you, brother.
Where I am. Oh dear.
Nisar, 7.5, Shafiq and Nisar?
Inshallah. In a minute, Alika.
Okay, sure.
Can I see myself? So at least I don't want to, if I move around, I at least know.
You're good, sir.
Yeah.
It is very big picture, but those things is because I'm telling you, in 2019, I wasn't muscular. I do the boxing and one of the abilities to get down. I believe them. These people, they come always within 1 year. I have a beard. Allah teach you. He knows. Same.
Jafar bhai, you can put the link in the chat box if you want for streaming, inshallah.
I wasn't yet wrong. And since then,
Shafiq, is it fine? Let's give it a go.
When I came in 2001.
You mean the session chat link?
Yeah. Shall we start?
Yeah, sure.
27th of September,
Mr. I think we can start.
Okay. There's little bit noise still behind.
Recording in progress.
Just give me a sec.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
So, inshallah. So, assalamu alaikum, everyone, and good evening. Those who joined, I can see the count is slowly going up. Indeed, it is with great pleasure I welcome Brother Siddiq Panwala and Brother Said Jafar for this AMIA community event. We have got these monthly programs which is running every month, and there was a huge demand to invite Brother you to this discussion because it's apparently there are so many people wanted to come down to this exciting place. So maybe that's what it is. So we thought, okay, why not? We use this opportunity to give some update to the community. We've also extended the invite to India and other part of the world to see anyone else is interested, want to join and ask questions and so on and so forth. For those who are new to AMIA, let me just give a little bit of brief. Myself, I'm heading the AMIA team at this point of time. And AMIA is a voluntary organization here to support the community initiatives with very close collaboration with different stakeholders. We indeed run language schools, charity initiatives, and support and other support activities along with different classes and educational programs. Without much details, on behalf of AMIA, once again, I welcome Brother Jafar, Brother Siddiq Panwala and Brother Said Jafar, along with all AMIA community members to this event. Without much details, let me just hand over to Brother Shafiq for an introduction and then further session. Thank you. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Not now.
Thanks, Mr. Good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. I first of all welcome everyone to the AMIA NSW community awareness session on the topic migration to Australia and pathways to permanent residency. I would also like to welcome our respected speaker guest today, Mr. Siddiq Panwala, and thank him for accepting our invitation and for his gracious presence. So our agenda is as follows. It's actually divided into two parts. One is a session talk for 20 to 30 minutes by our guest speaker. It will be followed by a Q&A session, which will go till 9 p.m. So regarding the Q&A, as I mentioned, like we already had shared a Google form in the meeting invite. So we have got a couple of questions from our participants. So if you have any questions related to the topic, please feel free to use the chat option in the Zoom meeting so that we can address those questions. And in case the speaker is not possible to answer those questions in this session, maybe like if you can give your email ID to us, we can check with the speaker and get back with the answers. So with that, like we proceed. So before that, let me just give you a brief introduction about the speaker. He's Mr. Siddiq Panwala. He's a principal solicitor with Unisaj Legal. It's a law firm in Western City, Parameter. His firm provides legal assistance in the areas of immigration, family law, and domestic violence. He has extensive experience in a wide range of legal areas relevant to suburban practice. He is well known for his ethnic community works in Sydney. He provides legal advices for migration in general and humanitarian migration in particular with multicultural communities in Western Sydney. And his areas of interest include international human rights issues and ethnic communities in Australia. So Mr. Siddiq is a legal advisor of Indian Crescent Society of Australia, and he has served as treasurer for Federation of Ethnic Communities of Australia for 4 years, which is the umbrella body representing ethnic communities of Australia. He has also served as treasurer and assistant secretary of Ethnic Communities Council of NSW for more than 8 years. And he is a former human rights activist, development consultant, and legal trainer, and practiced in the High Court of Gujarat from India, associated with various ethnic community organizations in Sydney. And he has also served on NSW State Government Committee on NGO Partners Reference Group, Department of Family and Community Services Committee. So we are very fortunate to have Mr. Siddiq as our guest speaker for today's session. And without much further delay, I invite Mr. Siddiq to share his thoughts on the topic with us. Over to Mr. Siddiq.
Thank you, Brother Shafiq. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. We can hear you.
Yes. And thank you, Dr. Parapil, for inviting me for this talk on immigration. I would like to thank President Nisad as well and the whole AMIA team who is working for the ethnic, for the Malayali community in Sydney and in New South Wales. Before I start talking on the immigration, as Brother Shafiq said, I am very active in ethnic communities in Australia, and I do involve in advocacy work for ethnic communities, and my area of expertise, apart from legal advice and work, I do pro bono work in Sydney for needy community people like students, refugee, disadvantaged group like women. And I do spend some time for community work. With this introduction, let us talk about immigration. I understand we all are migrant, and AMIA totally working with Malayali community in Sydney and New South Wales. They have extensive connection in Dubai, Middle East, and in India as well. And I understand Kerala is one of the most educated states in India, and the most skilled migrant comes from Kerala. So definitely skill migration is the main topic. This is our first interaction. I would like to focus on general information about immigration. Immigration is a very wide area, and even specialized solicitors need to look into real issues when we get queries on inquiries. So I will try to cover major portion regarding permanent residency. But before moving to the core issues of how to get permanent residency, I would like to give some basic information which will help you to how to deal with the professional. Look, Immigration Act is called Migration Act 1958, which is the basic law for migration. And then it comes migration regulation, which we guys as a solicitor follow to do applications, and after the application, if there is any legal issues. Whenever I deal with the community people, the basic questions: who is solicitor? Who is migration agent? And there are many professionals who does very good work, but sometimes it's confusing for the community people. So I will start with the basic people who are dealing with the migration in Australia. The bottom start with the education agent. Remember, if you are dealing with the education agent, they just do student visa. They are not entitled to deal with any other visa, number one. The second professional you are dealing is called migration agent. Migration agent are responsible for your application to the department. And if the application is refused, they can represent you at the tribunal that called Administrative Appeal Tribunal, AAT. Then the third category of professional you are dealing called solicitor. Solicitors are law expert and working either on the specialized issue like migration family law, or they are general practitioner. In India, we call lawyer. Here they call solicitor. With solicitor, we have another professional called barrister. So whenever there is any matter goes to the court, it is dealt or presented by the barrister. So we are directly dealing with the barrister. I'm solicitor, I am not the barrister. So assume that you applied to the Department of Immigration for spouse visa and this visa is refused. Then that visa, you have to appeal to the tribunal. That called Administrative Appeal Tribunal. If it is refused at the Administrative Appeal Tribunal, it goes to the Federal Circuit Court. And at that stage, solicitor and barrister come into picture. So please, when you deal with any professional, ask their expertise, who they are, and what area of law they are dealing with, and how much they charge. This is another issue with lawyers. People don't trust lawyer, I understand, because lawyer always talk about money. So you can ask upfront that how much will this application cost, or if it is refused, if it goes to the tribunal, how much does it cost? Let me give you some example. Normally, migration agent charge for application like spouse visa application or career visa application or skill migration application between $2,000 to $5,000. Depend. I'm giving you all this general information. If it is refused and goes to the tribunal, it will cost you about $5,000 to $7,000, depend on the case. If it goes to the Federal Circuit Court, it costs from $7,000 to $10,000. This is the amount professionals normally charge. Depend. Some professionals charge more than this amount. So I'm just giving you a rough estimate. So this is the structure. First contact is the Department of Immigration. Any application goes to the Department of Immigration. Department of Immigration is very good website. So please, we are all educated. Before dealing with any professional, look at the website. It's Home Affairs. Here it's not now immigration website. They're called homeaffairs.gov.au. Go to this website and look at the particular visa, because it's very wide area. Immigration is part of Home Affairs Department. And there is an immigration minister, then there is an immigration secretary, then there is a case officers, and they deal all these visa issues. Immigration is one of the biggest department in Australia, and they have offices in all over the world. If you are from India, And if you are applying from India, basically those applications goes to the immigration office, New Delhi, and then it followed by that office. If we are in Australia, and depend on which state, accordingly it will be dealt, or the issues. If it is student visa, you can apply in your state. If it is spouse visa, I think it goes to the Melbourne, or depend. So either if you are in Australia, in the state office of immigration, or if overseas, you have to look at the website, which is the nearest immigration office. This is the basic information. Now, let us come to the core issue of how we can get permanent residency in Australia. There are 4 areas which lead to the permanent residency. I will touch all these 4 areas generally. We will start with family stream. Number 1 stream, family stream. In family stream is called spouse application. If someone wants to marry Australian citizen or permanent residents, they can get the permanent residency through marriage. Then there are visas in the stream for parents, for carers, and visitors visa as well in this family stream. Visitors visa is not a permanent visa, but if you want to come into this country and then if you want to marry, you sometimes use as a tool visitors visa. That is number 1 stream. The second stream is called work stream, which covers the skill migration. That's what the real area which most of the educated people look into. The skill migration visas are permanent and temporary as well. I would just focus on the permanent visa. If you are overseas and if you want to get permanent residency, you can apply for skill independent 189 visa, or someone here, they can apply for skill independent visa as well. 887 skill regional visa. There are 2 visas. One is independent skill visa. One, you can go to the regional area and you can get your permanent residency independent on your own educational qualification, work experience, age. English proficiency is called point tested skill migration. Minimum point test 65, but there's just the indicator. You need at least 90 to 100 point to get independent skill migration. Then the second area for permanent visa for skill sector is sponsor visa. And there are categories in the sponsor visa: employer nominated 186, regional sponsor migration visa 187, skill nominated visa 190. Depend on your educational qualification, your work experience, your IELTS score, and your age. Accordingly, we have to check and compare your all these point tested issues. This is basically a skill, or it's called work stream. The third area for migration is called business or investment. This is emerging area, and many people wants to explore this, particularly people in Dubai who has a good business or wants to invest their money. They can explore this area. It starts with called 188 visa, and there are categories in 188 visas, depend, but rough estimate, I will give you just the general information. For 188, it starts with 800,000 to $1 million investment, and there are other requirements as well. And you can get 4 years visa, depend, and after 2 years you can apply for your permanent residency. 188 lead to permanent residency. This is not the permanent PR. This is just the rough estimate. I'm just giving basic information. There are other streams in this business visa, With 1.5, you can invest up to 15 million. You can invest and you can get immediate permanent residency. Depend. And still you need some basic English requirement for business or investment visa. Fourth area is not permanent residency, but it lead to permanent residency, and the largest chunk of Indian migrant comes to Australia are students. Student visa is not a permanent visa. They are here on temporary basis. People have misconception about student that if you are having the student visa, you will get your permanent residency. No, student visa is not linked to permanent residency. Legally, yes, there are pathways to get your permanent residency, which is completely different, because many agents or student agents give this false impression that once you get the student visa, you will definitely get the permanent residency. But that's not the case. It depends what study you do, and once you finish your study at that time, what are the requirements to get your permanent residency. Student visa leads to permanent residency at the particular time. India is second or third largest international student provider, and about 100,000 students in Sydney. In Melbourne, Sydney and Melbourne, two major cities. But now the focus is shifting because government focused more on regional migration, because they want all these migrants to go and settle in regional areas. So government focusing more on international student to go and study in regional area. If you do your study in regional area, you get few points that will help you to get your permanent residency. Similarly, government is opening up agriculture visa, which is a new visa still under infant stage. It's pilot project, and until April 2022, after the pilot project, it will get real form, what kind of agriculture visa available for migrant, including people from India. Students, once they finish their study, they can go for, it's called 485 graduate visa for a couple of 18 months to 18 to 24 months. And after that graduate visa, they can apply for permanent migrant independently, or as I said, sponsorship. So this is the fourth area for permanent migration for international student. Last major area is humanitarian visa. Humanitarian is called refugee visa. Refugee visa is permanent visa, and permanent visa, if you apply and if you able to fulfill the relevant criteria, you can straight get this permanent visa. Unfortunately, this is highly misused visa, and there are a lot of misconception and misinformation about this visa, because this visa, once you fail to get your permanent residency through family stream, through work or skill stream, through business or investment stream, and if your student visa is refused, so the last resort is to get refugee visa. That's how practically it works, but that is not the legal framework. Legal framework for refugee visa is for those people who are persecuted. What persecution means? Persecution means if you have fear for your life in the country of your origin, and if you are able to prove that the government of that country do not protect your interests, do not provide you safety, if you are able to prove it, then you can get it. It is very, very difficult for Indians to get this visa. Let me put it straightforward. Many people use it as a tool to stay in this country, and they can extend their stay. Yes, I agree. That's what people normally do. But it's very difficult to get this permanent residency under humanitarian visa for Indians. There are certain groups who are eligible, like gay or lesbian. Yes, they have more chances compared to others. If person from like Kashmir, disputed area, or having trouble, or having any extremist issues faced in the family. So this humanitarian visa is just the tool to stay in this country, but it is very, very difficult. So please, whenever you explore possibility to stay in this country, you must be clear that the refugee visa is difficult one to get your permanent residency. Another thing with refugee visa, once you apply for refugee visa, you cannot apply for any other visa except spouse visa. This is one thing. Second thing, if you get refusal of any visa, assume that you apply for student visa. Sorry, you have student visa, you come to Australia on an international as an international student. And if you apply for the renewal and it's refused, if you are here and you apply for any other permanent residency, 485 or 189 or 494, any visa, and if it is refused, it's called section 48 bar. And automatically you cannot apply for any other visa except spouse and protection visa. So you have to be very, very careful when you apply for any substantive visa. The refusal has detrimental effect on your life and on your career. Every day we got this kind of inquiries. And once refusal, then you have to go to the tribunal. And as I said, tribunal cost $5,000 to $7,000, very difficult. And if you fail at the tribunal, court is very, very expensive. So there are two issues if you are planning to migrate. If you are overseas, do your legwork for independent skill migration, that is 189 visa, and see whether you qualified for that visa or not, and get expert opinion after doing your own legwork. And you can come directly from overseas. If you are here and if you are applying student visa to skill migration, please get independent legal advice. There are a lot of technicality. No one can be expert in immigration law or any law. Even we need to check every day. And whenever we get an inquiry, we have to check it online or we have to compare, because immigration law is one of the most dynamic legal instrument in Australia. Every 3 or 4 months, rules are changing. And we have to update. And if you miss even one point, there are highly likely you will get refusal. So any visa, even if you are confident, before finalizing or before submission, please get independent advice either from migration agent or solicitor. We were migration agent earlier. Now solicitor are independent. They don't need to register as a migration agent. We can, as a solicitor, we are able to work on immigration issues without any registration. So this is the latest change in 2021. So migration agent and solicitor are your contact point for any application, any refusal, any inquiry, or any appeal. So these are the basic information which you have to keep in mind before going for your permanent residency application. I understand most in this group are interested for skill migration. The basic issues which you have to look at the point test. Number one, education, bachelor's or master degree. That's the basic for any professionals. Teacher, pharmacist, engineer, or any profession. And then we have to look into the list. MODL list now is changing. And after that qualification, you need minimum 3 years work experience, minimum 3 years work experience. And if more is good, it depends on your work experience. Minimum you need now 7 band for migration, minimum IELTS. But good thing, it's what people say is instead IELTS, you can go for PTE, which is easier compared to IELTS. So this is the third requirement. The fourth one is your age. Under 35 is good. Skill migration you can do until there are layers until 45 years. But once you cross the 35, your points reduces. So the best time to skill migration, once you finish your study, I understand at the age of 21, we finish our study. So between 21 to 35, this is the area you have to look, this is the age you have to look. And before even contacting any professional, I would request, do 2 things. Number 1, complete your degree or master degree. Number 2, finish your 3 years work experience and get 7 band. Then explore the possibility which profession is relevant for skill migration, because the skill migration list changes twice in a year or depend. And now they are focusing more on regional migration. So each state has their own system for regional migration. They open up and you have to apply for expression of interest. Then they will accept your application. And then you have to nominate and you have to apply. This is the basic format for skill migration from overseas. Department of Immigration website, it's called Home Affairs website, is very good tool to use. Point tested skill migration, you can check yourself. And if you are confident enough that you have qualification, experience, and IELTS, with these 3 things, you have to contact. If you wish, you can get expert advice from migration agent. Migration agents detail also available on MARA website. You can check whether migration agent is registered or not. Similarly, solicitors information available on Law Society website. Each state has its own law society in Australia, same like India. Each state has their own lawyer's role. So you can check whether the solicitor is registered or not, and always use registered solicitor or migration agent. Ask them how much does it cost. Ask them in writing. Once you agree with the fees and all other stuff, have the agreement in place. So later on, if any issues or any difficulty with your application, at least you can follow it up. I have seen many people, particularly international students who are here, they get a lot of misinformation, and particularly in area of sponsorship. I have many clients who lost. Earlier there was visa called 457 sponsorship. People charge 40,000, 50,000, and they could not get their 457. Any sponsorship visa, I would highly recommend, please, before making any commitment to the professional migration agent or solicitor, please get legal advice or second legal opinion. Don't commit for 20, 30, 40, $50,000, because it is very specialized area. Sometimes we try to cut the shortcut and just to save some few $1,000, it ruins your life. Every day we get inquiry from international student that my visa is refused, and it's end up with $5, $7, $10, $15,000. One more before I finish, piece of advice for international student or who do not have permanent residency in Australia. Please tell your friend and family, do not involve in any kind of criminal. What criminal means? I'm not talking about robbery or theft. If you are involved, but like domestic violence, if there is a domestic violence case against you, you will not get your permanent residency. Department is very, very strict. If you are charged for domestic violence, you will never get renewal, either your student visa. If you are on spouse visa, you will not get permanent residency, or if you are any bridging visa. So please keep in mind, obey the law of the land. And if you have any issue, any trouble, seek some legal advice before embarking on your own. Because nowadays government is very strict, and any issues which affect your legal status, or if it affect with your criminals, basically police. Understand, if you are dealing with the police, be careful. For non-PR migrant, if you are PR, then it's different story. But let me tell you, even PR is not guaranteed now. Rules has changed a lot. After getting PR, if you involved in accident, and if you are convicted, negligence conviction for 1 year, you're gonna lose your PR. So please, if you get your permanent residency, and if you are eligible your citizenship, please get your citizenship. There is no more guarantee that your permanent residency will allow you to stay lifelong in this country. Incident happen anytime. Rules changing every day. So once you are entitled, once you get your permanent residency and eligible for citizenship, please get your citizenship. And again, I would reiterate, nobody is perfect. Whenever we get any inquiries, we also look at the relevant provision of the Act, rules, latest notification of the government, and accordingly we advise. So in nutshell, please look at the department website. Number 1, homeaffairs.gov.au. Number 2, get expert advice from migration agent or solicitor. And if you are in trouble, or if you get refusal from the department, or if you are in trouble with the police, seek legal assistance. And when you are getting any legal assistance, please ask how much does it cost, because that's the ultimate price you have to pay. And there are wide range of variation of fees by the solicitor. So you can go to one solicitor and you will get one assessment or one area, one fee, and second solicitor will give you completely different. Same like doctors. So try to get, if it's a serious matter, more than one opinion, and then decide what is best in your interest. I think I'm summarizing this, and let us go for question answer.
Thanks, Mr. Siddiq, for all those valuable advices and inputs. So in the interest of time, we will move to the Q&A session. So I'll just share my screen again. So just give me a second.
Then you can look up. We start the transferring process. Okay, it takes maybe 1 week.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay.
Yes.
So like we have got some questions through Google form, and even while you were speaking, we got a couple of questions through the Google form. So I invite Brother Shahir to coordinate this. So over to Brother Shahir.
Jazakallah, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Jazakallah, how are you, Brother Siddiq?
I'm fine, brother. Thank you.
Anyway, I will
Thank you.
jump straight to the question.
Yes.
I think my role is to read it out loud so that it doesn't get boring, because if you ask the question and answer at the same time, it may not sound very good.
Correct.
So let's go for the first question, everybody.
Your volume is a bit low, Shahir.
Oh, last time you told me my voice was too high.
No.
We need it.
How is it now?
Now better.
Yeah, much better.
Good.
Yes, better.
Okay.
It's almost.
So I'll start again. Let's
good.
do the question answers.
Yes.
Because if you can see on the screen,
Yes.
for a 489 temporary regional visa holder who is planning for PR, they want to know if during that period, can you do any other job other than a full-time job? Like, for example, do a business or something? Is paying tax the only criterion?
489. Look, 489 is for 4 years. It's a provisional visa. Okay. And you have to work 2 years full time. At least minimum 1 year. Good thing you can work in any area. And after 1 year, once you, after 2 years, you can apply for permanent residency for 887 PR. But yes, this is not the permanent visa.
I think that the questioner probably what meant is they come on a job and can they do a different job part-time?
Yes, they can. No, not part-time, full-time. It's a full-time requirement.
Like if I'm already, for example, I came as a doctor visa and I do full-time doctor job, can I Uber on weekend on that visa?
You can
That's
do.
what the question means.
89
probably.
for 489, you can do the you can work in any
You can
area.
work. And also your spouse can work unlimited, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I think we can move on to the next question. Question
Yeah.
number 2, can a pharmacist get PR? I think it's very, they were asking a specific question.
Very difficult one for pharmacists.
Currently, I'm looking for my internship, which is registration. My question
You are
is,
dropping. Brother, you are dropping. Yeah, but I can read it. It's fine.
okay.
Currently, I'm looking for my internship, which take 1 year. Then I will get my pharmacy registration. Yes. My question, should I select any specific state for doing my internship, which will give me an extra benefit while applying for PR? Which state are open? Look, this is a state nomination, different state open up at different time frame. And we have to keep close eye which state is opening. States, any state, I don't think any particular state will have more point compared to another state. But what people consider when they go for the state, what kind of job prospect or what kind of internship available, but for medical professionals everywhere same. Even if you go to Darwin, it's fine. For internship, you can try for some other organizations like Pharmacy Society of Australia, Pharmacy Board of Australia. They are, I think, doing this internship as well. But I would like to have your resume. This is very specific questions, and then I will check and I can advise accordingly. Third
Okay,
question.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I think it's a very specific question. Maybe you can read it because there are multiple questions there. So
yeah, again, I am 30-year-old. I have BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering and PG diploma in Banking and Finance. Currently working as a Priority Relation Manager in Federal Bank, India. I have 6 years of work experience in this banking role. I would like to migrate to Australia. I have the following queries. If a PR, yes, direct PR 189 would be easier for me. If so, what would be suitable NJ code for me? If there is no suitable NJ code for PR with my current occupation, will a regional migration possible for me? What will be a suitable NJ code for that? Do I have any other migration options? Looking to your age, yes, you fall into that age category. You have qualifications as well. And I understand your English is also good, 7 band, you can easily get it. I have to check this particular NJ code because you have you have 2 degrees. We take in Electronic and Communication Engineering and PG Diploma Banking and Finance, and your work experience is Relationship Manager. So send me your resume and let us see which one is fit into your education and qualification and which is the relevant NJ code. I have to look into your resume.
I think also there may be, the questioner may be asking if he has not worked as an engineer for that long, would he be able to still apply for PR as an engineer?
No, because he has PG diploma in banking and finance. So if his current experience, relationship manager in Federal Bank India, it might be more suitable. I don't know. I have to look into it. But engineering is real issue because he has this qualification since 2013, but he's working in different area. So let us have his resume and work detail, and then can match whether it goes with the diploma or banking or something else.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Shafiq, next question, please.
How to
So,
come to Australia as a teacher for Indian? Yes, his qualification scope is compulsory experience in teaching field with explaining about skill of yes. This is again Islamic. I have doubt. I don't know Islamic qualification in particular area will help you, but general teaching yes. Master degree in teaching and work experience again it fall into the skill migration point tested you can apply directly if you have this master degree more than 3 years work experience under 35 and able to get I think teacher is about 7 or 8 band it is in the skill occupation list again send your qualification because I think India, each state has their own degree and bachelor and master degree and experience. And if you have this English proficiency, basically IELTS or PTE, yes, there are chance. But yes, again, it's same like pharmacists, it's a bit difficult area. But if you have work experience, yes, you can migrate as a skill migration. Or if there is another option for the teacher, you can come on a student visa and then you can do your student, you can get your student visa for bachelor or master in teaching, depend on your Indian qualification and get registration and can get your skill migration. This is another option for teacher. Number 5. I have my fiancée in India with a Bachelor of Social Work degree and I want her to get here as soon as possible and do masters and get PR through her. How do you suggest? Should I go ahead? Yes, good. She has Bachelor in Social Work. She can come here on to do her masters in social work and after finishing her degree, she can either, if there is not enough work experience, she can go for 485, get relevant experience and can apply for permanent residency. Yes, it is possible. I am on a 494 visa. Do I automatically become eligible for PR after 3 years? What is the benefit 494? Yes, good question. This is the latest visa, latest regional visa. You get it for I think 5 years and you can work in regional area. It is for international student or people who are in Australia, and once you get this visa after 3 years you can apply for permanent residency. This is one of the best visa currently available to get permanent residency for international student.
is there any catch in that visa 494? Like because you go to a rural place?
Yes, you have to work in that area which you nominated, but later you can change your work. That's another good thing with that visa. And even family can sponsor you for that visa if I don't forget. There are a lot of technicality. So better to, when I get an inquiry, I have to look into that particular issue. How to come, post. I am a postgraduate in biotechnology and work as environmental engineer in a reputed construction firm in Middle East. I have done special course from Cambridge University in environment sustainability. Is there any chance for an environment engineer in Australia? What are the options available for PR? Our concern is my college education is not directly related to my work. Will this impact impact my eligibility? Look, it depends. Yes, environmental engineer has chance. They have inject code and they can apply for it. And at that time, only issue is your 36-year age. You at least need 8 band, and because you cross the 35, that age in an issue. I don't think any problem with your English proficiency, but your experience, I have to look into it and can compare. But it's on a shaky ground, looking to your age. I would like to know about employee sponsored. I would like to know about employee sponsored permanent visa for an IT engineer residing in India. Is there any specific area skill where I can get an employer in Australia to sponsor my PR? Also, is there any employer in Australia nominating for regional sponsor visa? Yes, employee sponsor permanent visa. I would, again, this is another general query. I would still recommend to go for direct skill migration. If not, you can explore as an IT engineer. Yes, there are firms here you can contact, or there are professionals who does this specific work to connect with the professional, and you can explore this regional sponsor migration visa as well. Is there any visa option that allow us to do only training internship in Australia? Currently, I'm residing in India, did studies in business management in India, and gradually plan to apply for PR post the internship program. Yes, there is training internship visa. Depend business management. Yes, you can come on as a trainee here, 40, I think 8, if I don't forget. Possibility, but there is another student visa as well. Depend on your experience, work experience, and any gradually plan to apply for PR post the internship. Yes, if you get Australian work experience on trainee visa, there are possibility at that time. What happened in most of the skill migration program, if you are as a student, once you finish after 2 or 3 years, everything change. So if you are here on a training visa today, and it's for 1 or 2 years, you never know what's gonna happen after 2 years. That's the real case. So when you decide your training or your course for your student visa, just look beyond your study years and plan accordingly. Yes, that's number 9. Yeah, brother, any other?
Yep, thanks. I think we have got some more questions as we speak. I will check with Shahir. Brother Shahir, can you ask those questions?
Yeah, can you switch off the screen sharing, please, and allow me to do a screen sharing so I can show the question? Or maybe I'll just put it in the chat. But the question number 10 is, brother, I am an asylum seeker on a bridging visa in Australia and applied for a refugee visa in 2018. Is there any chance to my protection visa to have granted in the current pandemic situation?
He's from Kerala.
I have no idea.
Look,
there are people from everywhere, but I think there are some from Kerala as well.
Because that's why I ask about state. If you are from Kashmir, yes, with confidence I can say yes, you have very good chance. But if you are out of Kashmir or any other state, it's very difficult to get protection visa. As I said, it's if you are from India and if you are either in gay or lesbian relationship, it's very, very, very difficult to get protection visa. Unfortunately, if you apply for protection visa, you cannot apply for any other visa. That's the biggest problem. You can only apply for spouse visa. And even with the spouse visa, it's real catch because your protection visa, I don't know what stage. If it is the first stage called department level, and if it is refused, it goes to the tribunal. And if it refuses at the tribunal, it goes to the Federal Circuit Court. And if you get the refusal, then you have to overcome Section 48. Even if you go for spouse visa, to overcome Section 48 and Schedule 3 is another hurdle in your case. So it depends, but it's highly likely you will get permanent residency. And you have to explore other options or just stay here for a couple of years and then be prepared to go back.
Brother, I have some friends who came on refugee visa, but later they changed to job visa by paying some money. For example, they get some experience as a baker or chef, and they converted their visa to PR, and they become citizen and passport holders. They're from India. Is that something that can happen now? Like, there are people working in farm or remote areas. They can go and work there and change their visa status. How much money will that cost?
Yeah, currently, look, I don't know about unless I get any particular information, but there are latest change 2 weeks ago. And this is one of the biggest change I can see in last 20 years. This Section 48 was killer. Once you get Section 48, it's very difficult. But if you have refusal, they lift this Section 48 for skill migration. I think 494-191, you can apply for skill migration. So this is new and latest information for the people who has Section 48 bar. But it goes case to, I have to look case to case basis. And yes, there are some possibility. If you get refusal, you can go for skill migration. Second question, how much does it cost? Look, it depend on your qualification, experience, who is your sponsor, which state you are. All this factor does affect. That's why migration is in charge. Because if they connect you with the sponsor, they will charge you. If the sponsor is not good and you are just there to get your PR, then another story, then they charge more. So there are a lot of things for skill migration, particularly sponsorship. Be careful. Prepare yourself, ask difficult question upfront, because it's huge money involved in the sponsorship and people lose that money once they get the refusal. But I have to look into case by case basis.
Jazakallah. Brother, I think we have time constraints. How much more time have we got, Alika? While Alika is giving the answer.
No. Ask Sadiq Bhai. 9 o'clock the time, what we said. Are you happy to say 20 minutes more, a few minutes more? Sadiq Bhai?
Yeah, a few minutes. Yeah, or alternatively, yes, few minutes fine.
50 minutes.
But I'm happy. You can circulate my email.
Okay, can I put your email in the chat box?
Yes, no problem. My email and mobile.
Okay.
What our plan, what we normally do with the question and answers is that we invite as many questions as possible and we compile them as a list. Because even though I have one question, but I'm interested in other questions also. So we will send it to you. And then once we get the answer, we will circulate in our community. And brothers, whoever is not in our community and who is attending this talk, can someone share our email ID as well? So we can share our email, be share karo. So
Siddiq Bhai, thank you. Not Panwala.
We have quite a lot of questions, and there are people putting even more questions now on the chat box. I wish we had a lot of time, and this is a very topical matter, and I think we'll finish the Q&A session now. And
sorry, I put the army address there. They can email us the questions, and once we email to Sadiq Bhai, he reply back. We can email them directly from this box, or we can put it in our group also. So everybody is getting the benefit.
Where is the army address? Did you put it to the general everyone, or did you put it to someone?
Sorry, my apologies. I'm going to put it now. I put for one personal guy. Sorry, it's here now.
Yeah, amia.nsw.oz@gmail.com is our email address. If you do not, just click the chat box, you can see it. And what is the email address for Brother Siddiq?
I'll put that as well. I'll put that as well. I can put that as well. Give me 1 second. There we go. That's his Siddiq Bhai's number.
And Dr. Habib Burawala is, I think, going. Anyway, thank you for your thanks. So is there anything else, Shafiq? What is the next? Jazakallah khair for listening.
Thanks, Mr. Siddiq, and thanks, Sherka, for coordinating the Q&A. I hope we could cover some of the questions in this session. So with that, I request Alika to express vote of thanks. Alika, over to you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear all, Jazakallah khair, Siddiq Bhai, for accepting our invitation and to be here and to give a wonderful, very informative talk for our community and the people who has been here today. Habib Bhai, thank you for introducing or getting me Siddiq Bhai for this talk. Jazakallah khair. And let me thank my Shura team for organizing or backing up this program. And there's a committee called a Speakers Review Committee, which is headed by Shafiq Bhai and a few of us. Abdu, Nisar, Shahir, Ashim, and we thank all of them for that. Moreover, let me thank my AMIA community and the other associations who has accepted our invitation and being part of this talk. Let me also thank all the brothers and sisters who has been apart from overseas or from regional areas who has attended this talk. I hope, inshallah, this talk was very informative, and both Amia and Siddiq Bhai will be happy to help out your queries whenever you want it. You can definitely get us, contact us through the emails, what we have put in the chat box. This is a recorded session, and we'll be circulating in our groups, inshallah, as well as I would thank Jafar Bhai for streamlining this live program, DFP, and the YouTube channel.
Shafiq Bhai, just before you close, just one more thing I want to say. I know that people are still putting questions there. If they have some questions, please save this link to post your new questions in Google form, and you can do it later on. Please save this link. I'm going to put that in the chat box. If
the chat will be saved. I can send it to Shafiq Bhai.
So this is the link for putting your questions on Google form. So please save it, and you can put your questions later. You have to save it now, otherwise once you close the...
You want me to save it?
No, not for you, brother. It's for everyone who is attending, who has a question that they didn't put or they couldn't put. Save this link and put the question later on. We will. How much time can we wait for the question? When is the last time for submission of question? Maybe tonight or tomorrow, Shafiq?
I think we can keep it tonight.
Okay. Please put your questions before end of tonight. So by the time tomorrow morning, Indian time will be over. So, inshallah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Parapil, Brother Sahil, Brother Shafiq. Good, nice meeting you guys. Thank you very much, and see you soon in person.
Inshallah.
Thank you, inshallah.
Hope we need more and more talk from you, inshallah, in future.
Sure.
Over to you, Shafiq.
Thank you.
Inshallah. So thank you all. With that, we conclude this community awareness session. Have a great weekend. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah khair once again, Siddiq Bhai. It's a very good talk. Very informative.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. See you.
Okay.
Allah Hafiz.